In the next 4 videos, we're going to cover some basic Junos configuration tasks. First of all, we will start with loading an initial basic configuration onto our router to allow initial connectivity. Then we will walk through several other common configuration tasks. So let's get started. First off, let's factory default our router so that we can start with a clean slate. So we'll go ahead and open PuTTY here, and we're going to connect using the console port. Alright, and we'll enter edit mode here. Alright, so we issued the load factory default command here. Now before we commit, we're going to have to set the root authentication password, because if you notice what happens if we try to commit now, we get an error. Okay, saying that the root authentication password is missing. So let's go ahead and set the system root authentication plain text password. Alright, so it's asking us for a new password. So I'll type it in and type it in again. Alright, now we're ready to commit that configuration. And we're just waiting for the router to respond and save our factory default configuration here. We should get a prompt in just a moment. And there it is. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and request system reboot. And this will start us off with a clean slate. So we're going to go ahead and let the router reboot here. Okay, so now that we have factory defaulted our configuration and we've rebooted the device, we can go ahead and start loading our configuration here. So we're going to go ahead and go into edit mode, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set the system hostname. So this is going to be just the host name of the router we are dealing with here. So we do that by entering the set system host-name, and then we're going to call this test router. Alright. Something you can do before we go into configuring other interfaces here is if you want to set up a management interface and put an IP address on the management interface for out-of-band management, you can do that with the interface's fxp0 command. And of course you can go in and enter unit 0, family INET, and then put your address in. I just wanted to let you know that the FXP interface is going to be your management interface, and it's there if you would like to use it. So that's how you would put in a management interface on your device. But we don't actually need to do that here because I'm just using the console cable. So we don't really need that. So first of all, I'm going to use the Gigabit Ethernet 0 interface as my inside interface. That's going to be my LAN, or my trust zone. So let's give that an address here. So we just use the command set interfaces ge-0/0/0, and we're going to put that in unit 0, family INET, then address. We're going to give it the address of 192.168.1.31. Alright. Now the Gigabit Ethernet 1 interface we're going to use as our WAN interface, or our untrust interface. So that's going to be our outside interface. So let's go ahead and put an address on that. It's the set interfaces ge-0/0/1, unit 0, family INET, address, and we're going to give it the address 10.70.120. Alright, now we need to go ahead and set the default route. So we're going to do that with a command set routing options, and this is the base of the command that you're going to use when you're setting any kind of static route here. So we're going to specify that this is a static route, and it's going to be 0.0.0.0/0, and then the next hop is 192.168.1.1. Alright, so next we're going to put our interfaces into their appropriate security zones. So we're going to do that with the command set security zones security-zone trust, and then we're going to put interface GE-0/0/0 in the trust zone, because that's going to be our inside or LAN interface. And we're going to do the same thing, set security zones security-zone untrust, and we're going to put interface GE-0/0/1. Alright, so the next thing we can do here is set a security policy, because basically what we want to do is allow all of our inside or LAN traffic to be able to get out to the WAN or the internet. So basically we need a security policy that says anything from zone trust can go to zone untrust. So we're going to specify that policy here, and I'll show you how that works. So first we start by issuing the set security policies command, and we're going to say from zone trust to zone untrust, and we say policy, and then we're going to give the policy a name, and I'm going to name this policy policy-trust-to-untrust, and then we're going to enter the terms here. And because we won't allow anything and everything, we're going to say match source address any. Then we're going to say destination address any. And then we're going to say application any. And then we hit enter. Now we're not done with the policy yet, because we need to tell Junos what to do once the traffic matches the policy. So obviously we want to permit it, right? So we need to set security policies from zone trust to zone untrust, right? And then we want to specify the policy name we just created, which is policy trust to untrust. And then we're going to use the action then permit. Alright, that should allow any of our traffic from the LAN out to the WAN or the internet. So now we can go ahead and do the commit check and make sure that there are no errors in our configuration here. And it says configuration check succeeds. So we can go ahead and commit the configuration.